We all have a stake in protecting vulnerable people or children and unborn.
The pro-abortion side has painted this picture of, oh, well, men don't have a say. Well, all that does is reinforce abusive and irresponsible men to, sleep with women and then be surprised that the natural result of sex could be pregnancy, and then they walk out the door.
I may be a woman, I may be carrying a child, but there's two lives here, not one.
Critically important that we defend innocent human life. If we don't do that, nothing else we do in society is going to make a difference.
Hello. I hear you talking to some of the protesters about pro-choice. Did you want to elaborate?
I'm okay, but thank you.
No? Okay. Humphrey here with Rebel News at Centennial Square Park in Victoria. There's at least over 500 people here. A lot of kids have come out to stand for the rights of unborn babies. This is a May 11th March for Life, and it actually kicked off with a few church services. We made our way around noon over to the Catholic Mass at St. Andrew's Roman Catholic Cathedral. This is all happening during the same week where some of the Liberal MPs seem to want to be dividing people on the issue of abortion. Take a look at this.
We are unequivocally and proudly pro-choice and always will be.
We are not a government that will trick people into places that would limit the access to women across our great country to get an abortion. That will never happen under our watch. We've seen this before. And again, I look forward to the debate.
So now everybody's gathering here. They're waiting for some buses, and then they're going to be marching through the streets of downtown Victoria.
I want to encourage all of you to continue the splendid work that you are doing in accompanying those who find themselves, women who find themselves with an unexpected or unwanted pregnancy. You are with them. And for that, I think that we all owe ourselves sort of a slap on the back, because we are carrying out the good Lord's command that we love others as he has loved us.
All right, this is Archbishop Miller. Now, they said you're the greatest friend to pro-life and unborn babies. Why is that?
Well, I've been a long time supporter of pro-life. I certainly believe that abortion is a scourge in our society. We have a lot of good organization in the Archdiocese of Vancouver that I support, and we have annual pro-life mass, monthly masses, and going to clinics and so on. I just think it's sort of normal to be pro-life. It's
You and me both, but not so much Canadians as a whole. There's thousands here today, but some...
No, there are tens of thousands who could come and are in favor. Either they don't understand what's really going on, or there could be some reasons that people just don't want to be bothered, or sometimes there are hard cases that people talk about, but many of them are not.
What do you say to people who say, men, for example, they don't have a place in this debate because it's a woman's body, it should be the woman's choice?
Well, I guess I've never kind of thought that it was just the woman's body, that we're talking about the body of the third. We're talking about the child that we know is DNA distinct and physiologically distinct from the mother. So I think we all have a stake in protecting vulnerable people or children and unborn. Just because they're unborn doesn't mean that they're not a child. So I don't believe that. I understand why women sort of maybe have a primary place in the debate, but we all have a place because they're humans.
For a while, I was absolutely terrified, because deep down I knew I don't have a radical testimony. When people asked me why I cared, all I could say was because I believe abortion is wrong. And you know what? That is enough. that is enough for us to use our time and our energy to speak up against the violence of abortion. And so the only reason I am standing in front of you today and getting to share a bit of my story and the work that I do is because I decided to care.
All right, this is Autumn Higashi. Now, you were one of the speakers today, a passionate speech, but just recap for the viewers here. Why was it important for you to be here today?
Yeah, I believe that we have a fundamental responsibility to speak for the innocent, to speak for the vulnerable, and that includes the preborn. We know that abortion ends the life of an innocent human being, and so I'm excited to be here with like-minded people to use our voices to show the cities that we're in, the communities that we're in, that there are pro-life people, that they do exist, and we're going to continue fighting until abortion is illegal and unthinkable. One of the biggest issues we have in this culture is, the pro-abortion side has painted this picture of, men don't have a say. Well, all that does is reinforce abusive and irresponsible men to, sleep with women and then be surprised that the natural result of sex could be pregnancy, and then they walk out the door, and then we have women who are left vulnerable and alone because men use that argument, your body, your choice, to mean your body, your problem, I'm out. And so I think it's actually an incredibly damaging argument to our culture of enabling men to walk out on women, because most women don't want abortion. They choose abortion because they feel like they've, found themselves in a situation that they didn't expect to be in. And in regards to the body, or the argument, my body, my choice, the reality is that it is a unique individual human being that has its own DNA, its own heartbeat, its arms and legs. Scientifically, we can prove that they are two separate human beings, and no person has a right to use their body to harm another human being.
You are reminding politicians, federal and provincial, that you care about the dignity and value of every human life, and that they need to begin caring as well. And it is just critically important that we defend innocent human life. If we don't do that, nothing else we do in society is going to make a difference. And we want God to bless our nation and our province with, prosperity, freedom, and all the good things. We want our streets free of crime and all that. If we are continuing to kill the innocent preborn, then we can't expect God's blessing. We're violating His principles.
And what do you make of the people who say, our Prime Minister included, that they will stand for a woman's right to choose, and then other people say that men shouldn't even be saying anything at all about this issue?
Well, half the babies aborted are women, and the Prime Minister and most of the members of the House of Commons did not even vote to protect. There are baby girls being killed just because they're girls, because the family wants a boy instead of a girl. Well, there's a little baby girl in there that is precious in the eyes of God, precious in our eyes, and they won't even stand up for her. A woman, yes, has a right to choose, but 60% of abortions take place as a result of coercion, not a free will choice. Often women are coerced by a boyfriend, a husband, family, or peers to have an abortion. Many of them live to regret that seriously later in life.
All right, so you've got a sign that says love life, choose life. Why is this march important for you?
Because if we don't respect life from all levels, we don't even respect each other. And being involved right at the very start, when women even had to, let's say, go to doctor's offices for abortions and that type of thing, they were never the same afterwards. A lot of times they would have another abortion and another one subsequent. They couldn't have children. They've never been that happy. I don't think it does anything for a woman. And if a woman's not happy, then how can the man with her be happy? Because these are wounds that have to be dealt with. And I can say it from even some family experiences that it just never really heals. And I think the men really do love their women enough to respect the fact that a child begins at conception. And even for my age, what do? Are we going to euthanize people because we're in a hospital and we're in a bad state? Let's say we're depressed because of a terminal illness. Let's say no one comes to visit us. Should we be given that choice at that point in our life? What do we really need? We need friends. We need family. And that's how we have to support each other.
Well, for me, I come from a very Catholic background. I think abortion right now is just so widespread. We're taught so many different ideologies, in school, in public school especially. I came from the public system, and we're taught abortion is okay. We're taught that if you're someone who supports life, that's frowned upon.
Hello. I hear you talking to some of the protesters about pro-choice. Did you want to elaborate?
I'm okay, but thank you.
No? Okay. So this is Raul. Now tell us what you're holding here and why it matters.
So this is Our Lady of Guadalupe, the secret weapon against the culture of death. So Our Lady has always been in the forefront of every victory in the Christian world. And so we believe that with Mama Mary's powerful intercession, we will put an end to abortion, we'll put an end to euthanasia, and everything else that the government has been forcibly using against every individual.
It's a beautiful day out, and so far it's been overall a beautiful response to many families, many kids coming out for the rights of the unborn. Unlike last year, there were a few hecklers. We'll flash back to that right now.
Take away women's rights. Congratulations.
Hi.
Keep this.
What's your message for the protesters today? Other than the finger.
Yeah, exactly. Women's rights. Having mail out here choosing women's rights is wrong. Choosing not against women's choice of their body.
There's a lot of women here. It's not an all-male march.
No, that's true. But I bet it's highly religious.
And what's wrong with that if it was?
And that's fine. You can choose to have a children. But it's other people's women's bodies, and you take that away, you're going to start taking away their right to vote, they're going to be right to have a life. Exactly. My body, my choice.
They're fascists. You are fascists.
So do you think that if someone has a difference of opinion with you, they're not good people?
They are trying to take the rights away, the fundamental rights of a human being.
Which human being?
To determine her fate.
Which human being?
You are from Rebel News.
I know who I am.
And yourself. You are punching yourself in the face if you are part of Rebel News.
Well, my face feels pretty good. So it's great. Everybody seems to be in good spirits. But just in case, we had a bodyguard with us today to keep us safe. If you appreciate that Rebel News brings you reports like this at this moment, I do not see the state-backed media at this point, then please go to journalistdefensefund.com to chip in a few bucks to help us recoup the costs to bring you this report safely. Well, there you have it. 1,500, maybe 2,000 gathered here at Victoria's legislature to defend the rights of the unborn and celebrate their life as well. Let us know in the comments what you think about what you heard in this report. And again, if you want to see more reports like this, please go to our special website called journalistdefensefund.com. Thankfully today, my bodyguards were not needed to keep me safe, but a lot of times when we bring you the other side of the story, it gets dangerous to do so. So go to journalistdefensefund.com to help support reports just like this.